Welcome to Around the World, the show that brings you the most important global stories. Today, the second wave strikes, but are Europe's tighter restrictions too little, too late? Record numbers have already made their choice as the two candidates make their final pitch. And how to party in a pandemic. Is this the future of live music? Europe's daily number of deaths from coronavirus has risen by nearly 40% compared with the previous week, according to the World Health Organization.
Countries across Europe are now racing to control the spread, implementing curfews and other antivirus measures. But across the continent, many have grown weary of new restrictions. In Italy, there's been a second night of violent protests, with some demonstrators throwing petrol bombs and stones at police. Meanwhile, there's a warning that the measures here and elsewhere in Europe could be too little, too late.
Right now, we're well behind this virus in Europe. So getting ahead of it is going to take some serious acceleration.
Well, that poses big questions. Will health services be overwhelmed? And what could that mean? In Belgium, some doctors have been told to work even if they test positive for the virus. Medical officials say it's the only way to stop the health system collapsing.
It's a difficult balancing act, protecting ICU capacity on one hand and on the other, ensuring compliance with stricter restrictions at a time when many people have simply had enough.
But from the north of England comes this reminder of what's at stake.
I remember getting up about 3 o'clock in the morning to use the bathroom. The next thing I remember, I was on my hands and knees, gasping for breath. Well, I didn't think I was going to come out of it.
With the election just 1 week away, President Trump and Joe Biden are making their final pitch to Americans in the states that could deliver them victory.
Mr. Biden is leading in polls nationally, but it's still tight in key states. The Democrat Party's candidate chose to rally in a Georgian town where FDR once sought treatment for polio.
Anger and suspicion are growing, and our wounds are getting deeper. Has the heart of this nation turned to stone? I don't think so.
Not since Clinton's 92 victory have Georgians elected a Democrat president. 2 Biden rallies so close to the election show the Democrats believe that taking the state is possible. Meanwhile, President Trump has targeted Michigan and Wisconsin, 2 states he took from the Democrats in 2016, speaking to large rallies with little social distancing or mask wearing.
You're going to see a giant red wave on Tuesday. You're going to see a red wave like they've never seen before, and they saw a very big one. I'll tell you what, they got a glimpse on 4 years ago.
Nearly 70 million people have already cast their ballot via post or early voting, but counting these could take weeks. The president has repeated his opposition to a delayed result, calling for a winner on election night, thus setting the stage for a possible showdown in the courts.
Now, briefly, some of the other major stories you should know about.
Hundreds of protesters have marched through Philadelphia for a second night after police fatally shot a black man. Walter Wallace's family said he was suffering a mental health crisis when officers shot him. Police say they shot him because he wouldn't drop the knife he was holding. Women across Poland have gone on strike in protest at a court ruling that's banned almost all abortions. Tens of thousands of people have taken part in daily demonstrations across the country since last Thursday's ruling. The leader of the governing Conservative Party, Jarosław Kaczynski, says protesters were intent on destroying Poland. Kim Kardashian West has been accused of being tone deaf after posting photos of her 40th birthday on a private island with a large group of family and friends. Kardashian West said she was humbly reminded of how privileged her life is.
And finally, how about this as a way to party in a pandemic?
This event in Scranton, Pennsylvania is the latest in a series of drive-in raves being held across the United States. Tickets cost between $100 and $300, which buys a parking spot and a cordoned-off area to dance. Or you can rave through your sunroof.
It took a lot for us to fly from Colorado to Pennsylvania, and then knowing that we would have our own spot and feel very protected made me feel comfortable coming to it.
And to keep up social distancing, instead of a bar, there's a golf cart selling beer.
I think it's a great idea. If this is the only way that we can have live music back, then I'm all for it.
That's all for today and all from me. Thank you for watching the show. My colleague Ben Bland will be back tomorrow for more stories from around the world. But from me and the rest of the team today, goodbye.